What's up, man?
Chilling, man.
Thanks for stopping by so late.
Yeah, man.
7 o'clock? This is my it says, I will say you don't win the latest podcast I've ever done. One time we did one at 2:30 in the morning, so.
Oh, shit.
Came back from the bars. We lit one up. Probably the best podcast ever that will never be dropped.
Oh, what? I was about to say, I don't think I checked. I listened to a couple of your episodes, so.
That one is like epic. Like,
How come you won't drop it?
Because of brand. I'm very I'm very locked in on what my brand represents. Like if you follow my personal page on Instagram, like I only show people what I want them to see. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm like hiding stuff. For me, it's just one of those things where I have to be so careful in my industry, and I don't want a moment taken out of context that costs me clients or something like that. So I'm very careful on what I represent.
Well, yeah, you got a whole business going.
A whole business, yeah. Like we were talking about Gary before the podcast. Like, it sucks that like Gary like divorces his wife,
dude,
and then
that's so epic.
Divorces his wife.
Think anything of
100%.
Like,
divorces his wife, and then he posted that photo because probably people started seeing him with her.
That other girl? Yeah.
And didn't want people think he was cheating. So he posted it and then got super much heat for it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like the less people know, the better.
That's funny. Again, we both kind of fell into Gary Vee at the same time. And I kind of like, not because of that situation. I just, in general, I kind of got the hint of what he was trying to say. So haven't been watching his stuff. Yeah. But when I seen that, I was like, I wonder if a lot of people are hating him right now because
you look in the comments.
I haven't.
Oh, dude,
I haven't
people
watched.
Roast
really
him. Roast him.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, you never post your wife, but now you post this young thing, blah blah blah. And it's hard because it's like that's life. Like I think that's the hard part. What people don't get when you're on social all the time is that like you basically have all these people judging your life. Yeah. It's tough, man. Yeah. It's a journey. Like, you know, I won't post photos with alcohol in my hand. Mm-hmm. Not that I don't drink. I do drink and things like that. But it's like, what if I have an appointment the next morning and then that person,
like, were you drinking?
Yeah, were you drinking?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you were late 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
What? It's fucking stupid nowadays because I seen that with like my parents and their friends. Like, say my dad posts, I don't know, he went to eat sushi. You know, his cousin be like, "What the fuck? You didn't invite me."
Exactly.
Like, why'd you go eat? And that's like the new like.
That's the new beef.
It's like, why? Why do you have to be included? Like, I'm doing my thing.
The moment you give up that, you know, I have people might notice I do real estate, and I have a lot of people hate me in real estate because I do things like this that people wish they would do, but they don't. I was very successful when I first started. I was very cocky and arrogant, and I'm still cocky and arrogant.
When did you first start?
2019 or 2016.
Wow. Okay, that's not that long ago.
16. I opened my own office.
How old are you, if you don't mind me
35.
asking? 35. Okay.
I opened my first office. I opened my office 18 months into the industry.
I
opened this office that you see 18 months into the industry.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw up when I signed this lease. It was scary as shit.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, I was so scared.
So when did you open this one? 18. You said
18
months in. So
yeah. So
like 30?
I quit my last brokerage on my 30th birthday.
Sick.
30 years old.
Man, that's fucking hard, dude.
And I did it because where I was at, I felt it was limiting what I wanted to do, which is this stuff. Yeah. And so I was at a crossroad. It's like, do I take it easy or do I go all in? And I was like, fuck it, let's go all in.
You have to. Yeah.
You have to. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because for me, we were talking about before the podcast too, like my goal is to have a full, like this office is 2,300 square feet. I want a 5,000 to 10,000 square foot warehouse.
But in
Riverside, helping Riverside businesses, Riverside people, Inland Empire people, because I don't think a lot of that stuff happens out here. Yeah, like you walked in, you do podcasts, and you see this setup, you're like, oh, okay, this is a little different than I'm used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is actually my dream, but yeah.
Right? Okay. I want to
get technical.
I want to make.
I see this. I'm like, this is exactly what I want.
So first off, I do it because I want to inspire people like you, and then two, I want people to be like, I don't got $10,000 to spend on a podcast room, so let me pay $500 a month to use a $10,000 podcast room. So like I have a lot of people hit me up and go like, I want to do what you do. Okay, great. Well, that light's $1,000.
Yeah.
These mics are $700 each. This thing is $700. The lighting's over $1,000. This wall was $2,000 for soundproof.
Yeah.
These couch, like, it's like, okay, it's 10 grand. Do you want to throw 10 grand in this and believe when I make $0 on this freaking podcast?
Yeah, a lot of people don't get that.
They don't get that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then try to find guests. You know what I mean? And do podcasts at 7 o'clock at night when you
have to wake up early. Mm-hmm. I know I gotta be up at 4 a.m.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is like, so my thing is like, how can I inspire people to get their story out? Because I think what sucks is like people look at Rogan.
Yeah.
And there's some badass stories on Rogan, obviously.
Yeah.
But how many those are how do I want to say this in the right way? Those are 99.999% of people will never get there.
Yeah. But
how many people are like you or me or other people I've had sit over there that like more people can relate to and be like, oh shit, this normal guy did it. I can start. Like our last two was one was a girl who started her own coffee shop, and another guy was him and his family started an Indian food restaurant in their house and they're crushing it.
That's sick.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how many people can do that? A lot of people could do that.
Yeah.
Can people be Elon Musk? No.
Yeah.
But how many people can be like you? Coming down from, starting in music and now doing this and you know what I mean? Like
they don't know the struggle of like, okay, the best way to put it, people see Joe Rogan right now, but think about it, 10 years ago, 2012,
when he was just starting.
We don't know anything about. I don't know how it happened, but on Spotify, I listened to his recent one, and then it just jumped me to the first one without knowing. It was playing. I was like, what the fuck? I look, it's the very first episode. For the very first 20 minutes, it's him and Red Band trying to figure it out.
Yeah, right? Like going like, and that's the thing. Like you look at this, and that's why I told you before the podcast. I'm like, this is our third setup. Like this is not how we started. Like we started with like 2 blue mics hooked up to a laptop, and then I was like, okay, that doesn't work. Then we had like a table in the middle, and we had 2 like average mics. They were okay. And then one day I walked in, I was like, fuck this, I'm done. Like we need to have couches, we need to have Rogan mics, we need to have freaking cool walls, we need neon light.
Official.
Let's make it look official. And like we were talking before, it's like I'm trying to make it even more official.
Yeah.
But I believe in this so much because it's not that it's gonna make me a lot of money. It's the aspect of like you're able to sit here and see like, oh well, this guy's done this. Yeah. Why can't I have a setup like this one day?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's exactly. I'm motivated just seeing all this. Like I just recently got a little studio. Shout out to Lockout Studios. It's like a little room like this, and I'm paying $400. I just literally got it. Like I'm barely setting up. And it's funny because I wanted something similar to this.
Well, shoot, pay me the $400. You use this place.
I mean,
cancel that deal. You can use here.
If that's possible,
it is possible.
We'll talk about it after. Yeah.
No, and that's the thing too. Like I actually bumped these guys that do fantasy football here and stuff because they normally come Tuesday. We bumped them on Wednesday because of our podcast, and that's the other thing too. I want to give a space to people because like it was probably hard to find that spot. You know what I mean?
I had to wait.
Yeah.
I had to wait. I was on the waiting list, but I knew about it because my homie, shout out to River Rats. They're in a band, and they rented out a spot literally like down the street from right here. And the Lockout Studios is pretty dope. It's just like, I mean, maybe you would want to do something like that, but pretty much each room has different artists. So you have a punk band over there. You got someone that's like a DJ, something, whatever. Then there's rappers here. So it's just like a spot where there's a bunch of creators. So that's something I thought was dope, and they all rent like a little room.
Yeah, so that's my thing is like that's the future is like to have a room where you can come and rent, you know what I mean, to do whatever you want. You know what I mean? We're gonna have multiple rooms. We're gonna have multiple podcast rooms. Then we're gonna have multiple green screen rooms. We're gonna have multiple whatever rooms you want.
That'll be sick.
You know what I mean?
Green screen. Make it look like you're on the moon.
Yeah, the green screen is very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do. The lighting, like people don't realize, the lighting on those things are tough.
Yeah,
dude.
It's funny that you've seen all that. Like you probably see a lot of these guys editing, or
we've done it. We try. Like that's the one thing I think my videographers appreciate is I used to do it all without them.
Yeah.
So I know how long it takes to edit. I know how hard it is to get something done right. I know how hard it is to chop 3 cameras up. I know how the audio stuff. Like, so then when they go, dude, that's like 7 hours of work. I'm like, I know. Because my team, I negotiate the deals for them. I'm like their pimp, basically. But I know how hard it is. So I go like, and they don't have the ability to go like, no, it's $1,000. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You don't want to take it? It's $1,000, dude. And I'll run it really quick. Like, that's an hour there, hour shoot, hour back, 7 hours of editing. I'm like, that's, you know,
Is it worth it?
That's 12 hours of work for us.
Yeah.
$1,000 is less than $100 an hour. Like, do you want it or not? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, take it or leave it. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. So, what like got you like this whole team? Like, what inspired you to get a whole team?
Gary V.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't know any. I truly believe do what you're good at. I don't know how to do this shit. I have no fucking clue. I don't know how to do any of this. I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to like hook all this stuff up and the cameras and this. I know how to sell houses.
Yeah.
And selling houses is what makes all our money. So we're able to bankroll this.
And then with them being on your team, they also help you like, I guess, do little teachings. Would you say you do right here? Like you teach classes? Courses?
No, I just make a lot of educational videos.
Oh, okay.
So we shoot, you know, we drop Mondays real estate education video, Tuesdays podcast, Wednesdays something else, Thursdays something else, Fridays something else. Yeah, like we try to drop. I mean, I get seen 200,000 times a month online on all my platforms.
So that's on like YouTube, like
YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We shoot 2 different videos too.
Oh.
So I'll shoot a reel and then I'll shoot a long form. I do everything twice.
See, I just followed this, so I didn't. I
It's all different.
I need to watch. Yeah, that's why I thought.
But every platform's different. Like real estate people that are into real estate want, like I make stuff for realtors, how to do more business. Okay, they watch that. You want to know about buying and selling in the market. This. You want to know about small businesses. This. Like it's all. We're just creating different videos for everyone, and we know not every video is meant for the same person.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So you're just trying to touch like everything.
I think at the end of the day, it all adds up to one thing: is business. Doing businesses. It's all the same thing, dude. There's only 3 ways to do business. Adrian, you're gonna laugh at me, my editor. He's heard me a million times. Rule number 1: people have to know what you do. Rule number 2: they have to like you, and rule number 3: you need to do business with them. Just focus on those 3 things, and you'll do plenty of business.
Exactly.
You know. So what made you get into podcasting?
It was just mainly the fact that. So again, I did music. Did that. I started like. When did I start? Like, maybe 15, 14. I seen my homie Two Tone. He just lit up our neighbors. He just straight up freestyled and just.
Were you on SoundCloud?
Huh?
Were you on SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was on SoundCloud. I'm on SoundCloud, YouTube. I didn't put my shit on iTunes or anything. But he just straight up lit up everybody that's just freestyling, just saying, your Hot Wheels this and that. Like, he was just trashing everybody. I was like, what the fuck? How do you do that? Like, when I heard him do that, I was like, I want to do that. So I started writing right away. I started writing about my neighbors, started trying to diss them. You know, a little diss track. Yeah, just to be ready. So, like, when I went out there, I was just going to freestyle.
So you guys do, like, were you guys doing, like
battles? Yeah. Well, I mean, he started it, but no one else knew how to rap. So then I started learning how to rap. And then just ironically, it just started, everything just fell into, again, I was in the streets a lot. You know, I was just, like, I don't know how to explain my town, but pretty much my side of town wasn't the heart of the town. So I stole this bike, you know. And I painted it was a girl bike too. It was a girl beach cruiser, and it had a bunch of flowers. Painted it all black. I started using that to go to the other side of town, which other people were like, you know, affiliated. So I'll kick it with them, and then my mom just kind of realized I was like not being home as much.
How old?
I was probably like, again, like when I started rapping, I think it was a little earlier than that, but yeah, around 16 she built something. I was a junior, so she built a little like studio, like smaller than this, and like, hey, why don't you do your music here? And I started forming a little group. So at the time, we're called Team Business. So it's hard to like put this all in one thing, but we had like at least 15 people in this little ass room because
it.
my dad would get pissed. He had to wake up early for, you know, his job.
Yeah.
So we'd be hotboxing, you know, we had a bunk bed, the mic's on top of the bunk bed. The homie right here is playing video games. Everybody's smoking and drinking. We're all like kids just doing this. And it was a dope time because we're all making music. Like I always hated asking for money. I don't know what it was. As a kid, I just never wanted to ask for it. Like I feel like if I don't know how to, like, I guess the best way to say it, I don't want nothing handed to me. Like I don't want to be like, if I'm wearing these Jordans, you know, the first time I ever got a pair of Jordans was when I was 18. And that's because I bought them.
What's funny is I grew up in a nice area. I'm not gonna lie. My parents we were fully middle class. But it's funny because like I kind of like, not Jay's, but like for me it was like I went to New York on my dime. I would never have gone. My parents could have never, like, I had buddies of mine that were like, oh, we're going to Hawaii this summer. I'm like, oh, we're going to Vegas? Like, you know what I mean? Like, staying at the Tropicana? Like, you know what I mean? Like, my parents, I lived a great life. I never didn't need something. But it's like, I want to go to New York. Like, I've only gone to New York because of me. I only went to Hawaii on my dime. I never went, like, my parents, like I said, the hard part is, like, I think sometimes it sucks being middle class because it's like, oh, well, it must have been nice, blah, blah, you grew up in Orange Crest, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, my parents weren't rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel you on that because just because my dad had a steady job, people thought I was rich.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not rich. Like, I'm not rich. Like, my parents, you know, we didn't drive the nicest cars or go on vacations or, like, so it was like, all right, well, if I want these things in life, I have to go work and get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's
like, if I wanted a dirt bike, I had to go get a job and, like, earn the money to work for it.
Yeah.
Like, my parents bought me a dirt bike, but I paid the payment. How'd that make any sense?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But still, people would be like, oh, they bought it for you. Like, they see, someone's always going to say something. Like, perfect example, like me, like, just because my dad was there, like, if I realistically wanted, like, a Xbox, my dad would, like, okay, give me a couple months and then we'll get an Xbox.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was poor, but I just didn't want people to, because they were already talking shit that my dad has a good job.
Which is, isn't that hilarious that, like, the people around are like, oh, you're doing good.
Dude, I used to love buying clothes from the swap meet. You know, we call it the flea market, but fucking, one of my homies trashed me for that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought these clothes were dope. After that, I didn't want to go anymore.
Yeah.
And that was something that me and my parents loved to do. Like, every Sunday, we'll go to swap meet.
Isn't it crazy how people's opinion of us controls?
Man. And I think that's why I started slinging. You know, I mean, at the time it was weed. Yeah. But then obviously slowly graduating to coke, Molly, ecstasy, you know, having that.
More money.
Yeah, exactly. So I started off with weed. It was just like this guy pretty much fronted to me. I'll bring him the money, saved up. Then I ended up getting my own ounces. Then it slowly went up to pounds. And then, you know, it was just dope being able to be like, you know, I'm making my own money at 16.
How'd you get out of the game?
Well, leading up to that, like I said, like, Solo Grinding was popping. We made a dope song called We Mobbin'. Okay. Look it up on YouTube, Solo Grinding. And we started getting known. And then slowly shit started happening where beef here and there started happening because two of my homies, again, we're like 15 deep. So some people were gang related. Some people were just like hustlers.
You never had gang related?
No, I never joined, but I was always associated. I was always
hanging out.
Yeah, I was guilty by association. Like, dude, the cops over there, I started growing out my hair, but I had short hair. So the cops over there, when I had short hair, pull me over right away. Automatic, you know? And they'll pull me over, but like, what do you got in the trunk? I'm like, what the fuck you mean? I'm just going to the store. Get out of the car. And if I fucking resisted at all, handcuffs, put me on the ground, search my whole car. They literally will search my mom's car, flipping all the clothes because my mom was a mess. She I'm sorry that's saying that, but she had
watching this.
Yeah, she fucking had a bunch of clothes, so they're like flipping everything, throwing everything out, and then they'll fucking put it back in all sloppy. Like, all right, good to go.
See, that's the thing that's like, I've never like dealt with it.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
You know what else is weird? When I go to a store, right away I see everybody staring at me, and I'm already used to it. But one of my friends, he's white, and this is back in Santa Cruz, and I walked in with my other homie that's Mexican, and
I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
He's like, yo, did you see what happened? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, everybody's staring at you guys.
Did that happen down here? No, or only in Santa Cruz? You feel like it feels the same down
It hasn't really happened here, but it does happen sometimes when I
you go outside the IE?
Sometimes. It just depends on what restaurant I go to. Like, no matter where I go, I always see eyes.
But what's crazy? So, we're in Riverside. You're from Riverside. You're in Riverside now, right?
Yeah, well, right now in San Bernardino.
Colton.
Yeah.
Do you know what Mario's is or no?
Mm-mm.
No. So Mario's right across the street. It's a high-end Italian restaurant.
Is that the one where everybody's all fancy right here?
Yeah.
I think I passed by it.
Yeah, and you passed it. So anyway,
Yeah.
so like it was crazy. It's like back in the day when I had like nothing, right? I was broke. I had no money. Like me at 28, I was sleeping on a buddy's floor. Like that's how
bad it was.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. Like literally had like negative money. You know what I mean?
But you were doing real estate at the time?
I just started.
You just started. Okay.
I was so broke. I had nothing, dude. I got so lucky. My best friend Chris, shout out Chris Jackson, best friend of my life. Literally, like me and my girl broke up. Me and my ex-fiance broke up. I was flat broke. Couldn't pay. I never rented a house before. I had no credit. You know what I mean? I slept on his floor in Beaumont, whatever. But before that, me and my girl would go to Mario's every once in a while, like, and it was just so crazy. Like we would go to this restaurant. And we knew we didn't have the money to pay, and they knew we didn't have the money to like go balls out there.
How'd they know? Just the way you're
just
dressed?
Like our attitude. We were young. I think we were like 26 at the time, 25 at the time, So it's funny because like the way they treated me then, now it's been a while. I mean, I go there every once in a while, but like I used to live in downtown. I don't live in anymore. But when I was rolling in downtown, like I would show up there in sweatpants and like sit on the patio, and they treated me like gold because like I've been there all the time. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's crazy how restaurants or places like based on your status, even though you might dress different, and I don't know if it's your attitude, like you feel like you belong more there, but like I've sat on that patio now in sweatpants, and like they've worshipped the ground I walk on.
Yeah.
But like before, I was like, oh, let me wear a button up. But like obviously I didn't have the money. And then like the waiter would like snub us the whole time, and the service.
Dude, I hate that. I hate it when I give them a good tip regardless, just to let them know, like, whatever, dude, you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
There's one time I went to a gas station. I've said it on my podcast, but it was late night. I was working Wingstop. I'm probably 18, 19. And I think it's 2 a.m. And I go in and I ask him, 20 on 10 or whatever. And then he's not saying it. Like, even when I walked in, I was like, hey, what's up? He just didn't say nothing. He's just staring at me. Guy looks like Santa Claus. Big white beard, white hair, probably in his fucking 60s, 70s. And, yeah, he just fucking didn't say nothing. And I was like, whatever, dude. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let him get to me. I'm like, hey, you have a wonderful night. Now, as I'm walking away, he's like, KKK. And I'm like walking. It didn't hit me until I left the door. And I was like, did this motherfucker just say KKK to me? Like, but then I didn't want to be that guy that goes back in, start a scene, and then
and then prove to the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, bro,
That's
like
tough.
I can't get a fucking like break.
Yeah.
I'm like 19.
Yeah. So you started with rap. So what made you? You were talking earlier about you had equipment and but like
What got me into podcasting?
yeah, what got you into
So,
podcasting?
let me give you a situation of what happens when we perform. We open up for I want to say his name, T-Fly, the guy that made the song with YG Toot and Boot It.
Okay.
And we
Which
killed it.
sucks about rap, there's so many undergrounds.
Yeah.
Rap's like there's some underground.
Dude, now I see it, but at the time I was so young that I was like, we're the main ones. We're gonna make it.
There's so many underground, like this person rocks San Bernardino, and only everyone knows him in Sambo. Everyone, there's rapper in Riverside. Like, I haven't noticed it until now. the reason I've kind of done a lot more podcasts is the homie. I'm pissed. I want to get him on the pod, but we haven't connected. Was like that runs like What's Up Riverside or whatever that called. Dude, he like there's like all these underground Riverside rappers.
Have you heard of Noah James?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like
Noah
there's
James
so
is
many
fucking-
underground rivs.
Shout out to Noah James.
There's so many underground Riverside rappers that are just like making videos.
Dude.
And what's funny is Adrian, my editor, he's done. He doesn't do them anymore because he's so busy with our stuff. But like he used to do like underground rap videos all the time for people.
Yeah.
Like that's the one good thing. It's so easy to make a rap video now.
Yeah. That's why I started making videos, you know. That's what got me into it, because I was like, yo, there's money in this.
Yeah.
So like, again,
Go back.
The perfect example of like why I want to leave. Like, we're having a wonderful night. We just killed it. You know, we're walking away, but like again, we're rowdy ass motherfuckers. Like,
Yeah.
We're known. Like, dude, I remember we got in this fucking crazy ass fight, and people started calling us UFC. Oh shit, UFC's here. So I was like, fuck, I don't want that stigma on us.
We had 15 deep, so.
Yeah, but then we also knew the other people. Oh shit, Siri, shut up. But then there's also other people from 30s block or other people we know. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're hoods. They're like little cliques.
Whatever,
Yeah. They're not like actual gangs, but they're cliques. Like
They hang out, yeah.
30s block was a clique, and when we see them at parties, we're like, all right, we got 30s with us. We know for sure they're with us, and shit will pop off, and we're all fighting together. But anyways, we're downtown. We just opened up. We killed it. Everybody's chanting for us. I was like, what the fuck? People really fuck with us.
How do you put 15 guys deep on one song?
Oh, so it's not. So we're just like, it's the entourage. You know?
How many rappers you got?
Typically, there's at least like We Mobbin has 5 people I want to say on the song. It's 2 people on one verse, so 8 bars.
Yeah.
So they split their verse.
Yeah.
So we all split it.
Yeah.
But
I'm the only white guy that hates country music. I only like hip hop.
Oh really?
I only like hip hop.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know what I always think is crazy? Obviously, I'm not from the hood, but it's always crazy. It's like, dude, like, you know, you see guys like, still am a big, you know, what's his name? Going blank on his name. The guy just got killed. The rapper.
PNB or
no, not PNB. He got killed 2 years ago. It was a shootout.
Nipsey Hussle?
Like, it's like that dude was helping the hood so much.
He was one of the reasons why I wanted to move too. I was a big Nipsey Hussle fan.
I'm a huge Nippy. Like, his songs are so legit. Goes back to the community. Blah, 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 all this stuff. And then it's like, then you ruin it.
Yeah.
Like, someone ruins it.
Over some stupid
Over nothing.
Because he just said, like, dude, I heard there's paperwork on you.
Yeah.
Get that cleared up. I don't want to be associated with the snitch.
You know what I mean?
This fool gets mad and just comes back with a gun and kills the legend.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like,
it's like the people like that, like, it's just like so crazy to me. You know what I mean?
Dude, and that's what I was seeing, man. Like, when I was at the studio making a song and my homie calls me as I'm making my first album with my homie Swerve, he's like, dude, we just got shot at. Like, call this and that. And I remember hanging up. I'm like, this is why I want to make music. I want to get the fuck out of here. Like, this is on my street, you know? And so anyways, I ended up moving. Again, I tried moving with my homies. No one came with me. And
everyone's down until you got to do
it.
Dude,
yeah, I swear. I fucking told them all, I'm all right, I'll meet you guys out here because I got my 8 Gs. I saved up. I'm out. They never fucking came. They're like, yeah, we'll meet you out there.
You know how many people said they were going to come work here and they didn't roll? Like, I got it.
So many probably.
Don't worry, I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, even though you're showing them up and still doing it, and I guarantee they're probably like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You still got openings?
No, people, dude, I get so many DMs. People ask. I have so many DMs where people are like, yo, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do it? And I'm like, bro, why would I tell you?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, I still tell them because karma or whatever, Gary shit, whatever. But I'm like, dude, everything you want to do, we could do here.
Yeah, and not only that, but if you really wanted to, the best thing...
It's ego.
That, and one of the best things I ever heard was, I forget who said it, but it's pretty much a comedian said to another upcoming comedian. He's like, what advice do you have for me as an upcoming comedian? And they said, don't be a comedian.
Yeah.
And then they're like, so if they take it literal, they won't do it, but the real comedians still do it.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people, like the people that want to know how to do this, like right now, I feel like I'm at where you at, like a couple years ago or maybe 5 years ago. I'm learning everything.
Yeah.
I just barely got my little studio.
The difference I think between me and you is I luckily picked a career that I was really good at that could make me a lot of money, and I could reinvest that.
Yeah.
You know, like that. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is I picked a career. Like, you know, there's people and I'm like, dude, why don't you do something that makes you more money? You know what I mean? I'm just very fortunate that it's like, you know, but there's also months where, you know, what people don't get and what people don't struggle with, like all of this is $20,000 a month to pay.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I have 5 staff members,
so you got paid
$5,000 office.
Yeah.
Something breaks, I gotta pay for it, right? I pay for everything in here I own, you know, and so some of the months are stressful, especially when this makes no money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you gotta really believe in this, and that's the difference. And most people are like, "Oh, I want to do a podcast." You're not gonna get paid. Like, yeah, we just got our first sponsor, and yeah, we have some few other sponsors, and they do some ads on some videos for us. But dude, we've been doing this since 2019.
Yeah.
It sucks. COVID hit. We used to do a podcast called Cool Places, Cool People. So we'd go on location, and we would do like boxing rings, restaurants.
Sick.
Like we used to that, and we stopped because obviously COVID hit. I'd love to start it back up again. The one problem is I'm so busy, I don't have time to travel anymore. But if we have to, we'll travel. If someone who's like, I'm like, I want that person, I'll go to them. But we used to do a podcast called Cool Places, Cool People.
That's sick. Yeah. I mean, I like that idea. That's fucking dope.
I always said I always want to do it on a plane, private jet,
Okay.
podcast, private jet.
Yeah.
That or like have us on the back of a boat.
When you think about ideas, the first thing do is like, do you want to execute them?
Immediately.
Yeah. I feel that too. I'm the same way. I get anxious when I can't. Like when I have an idea, I just want to try it. And if it works, then it works. But if it doesn't,
instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
Instantly. I think time wasting of overthinking is the biggest flaw that people do.
Yeah.
Action is the biggest thing.
Sometimes I feel like that's my biggest flaw, though.
What
I'm
is?
just like impulsive. I'm like, I want it done like this. And then like, you know, I can't get it done. Like there's so many things that I want to do, but then again, the money. So that's what I was going to ask you. So definitely you need money to do this.
Yes.
But how do you balance this when you're trying to make money, like at the same time with like, so for you had to.
Adrian.
Is that Adrian?
Yeah, it's Adrian.
Shout out to Adrian.
Shout out Adrian.
So
did your cousin come back? Your cousin here? Okay.
So obviously to do what you did, you had to go to school, right?
No.
6
weeks.
Just 6
online course.
Online course?
Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
So like, I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, what's the question?
When you're 28, struggling, how you said you're dead broke, you're sleeping on someone's couch, whatever. How do you do this at the same time?
I didn't do this at that point in time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I knew this wasn't money.
This takes in.
This wasn't a money making item. I knew I had to get really good and sell a lot of real estate.
So you're focused on real estate.
Number one goal is, to this day, number one still, like if you were like, hey bro, we got a podcast at 6, but someone's like, hey, come sell my house, I'd be like, yo, I gotta cancel.
Yeah.
I gotta go sell a house because that's gonna pay the bills. So as much as I do this stuff where people see it, I do more behind the scenes to sell more houses.
Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say, what's the balance?
There is none.
Like how, because I'm struggling with that right now. I work at a warehouse.
Yes.
Does that pay the bills? Is that going to pay? I'm making $20 an hour. That's not great, especially with inflation right now. So I've been looking at other jobs, trades, and trying to move up and like, should I go do this and get paid more? But then I feel like my focus right now, I'm doing so good on podcasting. My focus is going to go to that.
Okay.
So it's going to get redirected into something like that.
Got it.
But
So you're worried that it's going to take away from the podcast.
Yeah, because right now I'm 80% to the podcast because obviously I have life and all that. I should be like posting more than I should. Like,
okay, then my advice to you is like, what's the end game of the podcast?
definitely want to get paid
How?
by
Sponsors?
sponsor. I mean, I always hear sponsors. That's like the best way to get paid. But obviously, YouTube money. Definitely like doing like events too.
Okay.
Like doing interviews. I'm also trying to balance or figure out that I want to do music again. I don't know if that's something that's in the air.
In the air, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people I see that's successful in podcasting, they have something and then the podcast. Like you have,
real estate.
Real estate.
Yeah.
And then podcast.
Yes.
Comedy, podcast.
Yes.
So I don't know what my other thing is that's other than podcasting. Right now, all I have is podcasting.
Which there are, I mean, I think the thing is that the podcast for me is to go back to my 3 rules of business. More people have to know who I am.
Yeah.
Podcast is number 1.
So pretty much the podcast goes back to your
podcast
business.
feeds me a real estate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the game. That is the full game. Because here's the thing too: most people don't need to sell and buy real estate. It's every 7 years on average, maybe more, 5 now. So the reason I created all of this is I have a lot of homies that have small businesses, or I have a lot of homies that have stories, or I have a lot of homies that have whatever.
Yeah.
I want to provide value to them, not just buying and selling houses. And side note, I enjoy this.
Yeah.
I love real estate. I love the game. I love that. But I love that you sat here when you first sat down and looked around and go, this is what I want one day.
Yeah.
And that I can be inspiring to you to be like, this guy did it. He was sleeping on fucking floors.
Exactly.
Why can't I do it one day?
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I do this. You know how many people have sat across from me and go, and I always go like, is this your first, like I didn't sell to you because you have a podcast. But how many people are like, is this your first time? Never done this before. Perfect. That's what I want to hear. Yeah. I want to hear that you've never. I had a girl one time named Lauren. She's the most popular podcast I've ever done. Shout out to Lauren. And
what does she do again?
She's a therapist.
Yeah, I see.
You watch that one. Yeah. I hit her up for like 3 months. Hey, we should do this. I want to have you on. And one day she randomly DM'd me and went, I'm ready. She sat down here. We got done. She's like, thank you so much for pushing me out of my comfort zone. And I'm like, that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
I'm here to give you the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I guess in a sense, that's what I try to do is.
Who's your main interview?
Like, what do you mean?
Like who do you go after on interviews?
Dude, anybody. I'm the same way as you, because my whole thing that I say is everybody got a story. I want to hear it. You know, like, what's yours? What's your story? Because it doesn't matter who you are. Like, I swear to God, everybody has a fucking story. I don't know why people don't see that. Like, even though maybe your age difference, but like, if I talk to a 10-year-old, they're gonna game me up on TikTok. You know, just like Gary Vee talks to anybody. So I feel like that's what I want to do. I want to talk to everybody, and I want to hear your story. But sometimes I feel like that's my flaw, because I feel like everybody has a certain structure where it's like, this is a hip hop channel, you know, this is that. Me, it's just like, dude, if you're a cook, I want to hear you. If you do I want to know who did that. Like,
I have no idea. I was drunk in Mexico and about that.
See, but like, there's a story behind that. You know, even the people in Mexico that are fucking selling the things before you leave, those kids are trying to make some money, and I want to hear their story. Yeah, you know, they're talking about like, dude, I stay right here every day to see Americans leave, go back to the fucking country. You feel me? Like, everybody has a fucking story, and that's what I want to do. I want to travel, and I think that's the end game. I want to be able to travel and make money on the go.
Do cool places, cool people.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down.
Andrew. You think I've never done drug a day in my life? Do you think I believe drugs, alcohol? Like I drink. I think when any people are on drugs, alcohol, women, I think this is a distraction from reality. Yeah. Do you feel the same way?
I feel like it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like you're upset about something, so then this copes it.
Or if you don't like your life.
So I always laugh, like, it's like, I don't think people have a drug problem. They have a life problem. They don't have an alcohol problem. They have a life. Yeah. Like, there's something in their life they're just not happy with in the beginning, and then the drug's so strong that it takes over.
Exactly.
I think that's
I've been there.
I remember when I used to travel a lot, and I'd be on the plane flying back here to like Ontario, LA or something, and I'd be sitting next to him like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, Riverside, and you could just instantly like feel the different vibe. I'm like, what the hell?
Why? Is
I don't
there
know.
Stigma?
Yeah, because they're like from LA, like especially LA. When I flew into LAX, I'd be sitting next to somebody and they're
there
from.
is that hate on IE. And
What's funny, right? But
Right.
what people don't realize, when COVID hit, we had like 5 million people move from the coast to here. And so I think a lot of people, it's like the unknown. They don't go past the 71. You know what I mean? But yeah, I see some people planes all the time, and you could just tell, like, oh, you're that person. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
This is how it works. So you're doing river rat. You're taking photos.
Ironically, dude, and this is why I feel like life is life gives everybody its own chapters and destinies. Like everything happens for a fucking reason.
I agree with that.
So I was lost. Remember, I took acid. So I wanted to move, but I didn't know what was going on. I wanted to get clean. I just knew my friends were not the best environment.
You already surround yourself with.
Yeah. So I just started meditating. I started thinking, like, what is wrong?
Was it weird when you were trying to make that transition?
It was super weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only 26.
Dude, when I made the when I made the transition from my life to trying to be super successful, I lost all my friends.
Yeah.
They couldn't process. Like, I would talk to them, they think I'm like talking to aliens. But what's funny is like my phone's like blowing up right now because of a Facebook group with like 5 like super successful guys, and like that's the world I live in. You know what I mean? Like guys that are like, I'm like, I actually.
You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
DM one of the guys right now when we were on break, and I was like, bro, why are you putting me in this group? Like, I'm not even close to you guys.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, like, you're the shit. And I'm like, but it's funny how who you hang out with, it becomes this whole new thing where like that is the standard. You know?
And that
It's
goes
crazy.
back to my cousin, how he started doing drugs because he wasn't around my homies, the solo grinding. So he started doing drugs, meth, and I mean, he got ran over, but I think it was meth related.
He was high. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that he was high. I think there was something that happened with drama between people, and this guy ended up running him over on purpose. You know,
It's so crazy, dude. Like,
and he was only like 25.
you know what's so crazy is like that. It's just like, it's so hard. Like I don't know if anyone's told you, but it's like to have the ability that you had to walk away.
Yeah,
It's so hard.
I see people all the time. A lot of my homies I went to high school or like just kicked it with, they're locked up or dead.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, except for the people that kind of did their own thing with families.
Yeah.
Or they disassociated and now they're considered dropouts.
Which is hilarious because it's like,
Yeah,
you're doing well, talk shit.
Yeah. You're trying to do better, so you're trying to leave the hood. Now you got this whole town trying to kill you because you want to do.
You're too good for it,
dude. And that's what we grew up with.
Yeah.
That's
Luckily,
why
I'm white.
That's why I grew up with that mentality. Like, I have to make it's stupid, but like I had to make a name for people to know who I was. So that's why I'll get in fights. That's why I started slinging drugs, because when I rap, I don't want people to be like, oh, he's a bitch, he ain't down.
Oh, he's rapping about stuff he's not into.
Yeah. Or just in general, but then me doing what I do leads me to rap about those things. So it just yeah.
It's an ongoing circle.
Yeah, that's why I had to leave. But so I started doing photography, videography. The band's dope. Took acid. Wanted to leave. I was already doing podcasting at that time. So before I took the acid, and then
We're doing acid consistently.
Here and there.
Yeah.
Like I definitely love psychedelics. Like I definitely feel like whenever you're in a pickle, you take psychedelics. Mushrooms is a little bit better, but I feel like it gives you an answer. I don't know how to like explain that, but
Got it.
the best thing was when I took acid. There's drama between the band.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too into it.
Yeah.
But I felt the vibe.
I
felt the
it like
lead
takes
sing-
you to another level.
Dude, I was in the truck, and I felt the beef between these two guys, and I can just see they hate each other. And then I'm like, what am I like? I'm this photographer going to Vegas with these guys. What am I doing?
Yeah.
And then it just everything hit me where I'm like, I need to move.
You know what's crazy? I wonder if there's like another level that maybe like microdosing can get you. You know what I mean? Like microdosing. Like I had my mentor who taught me when I first got into real estate. He taught me a shit ton. Like have you ever met someone where you looked up to them and you're like, oh fuck, you finally met them in one day, and you're like with them and you're like, how the hell am I here? Have you ever met someone like that?
Right now. No,
okay, bullshit.
Like, what?
So like this guy, I'm not gonna drop his name. He literally helped me get started in real estate, and then like 2 years later, I'm like speaking to his office.
Oh shit!
And I got to like hang out with him all day the day before.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd ever meet this guy. Like holy fuck! Like
I guess Gary V.
Like it'd be like me meeting Gary
V and Nipsey Hussle. I met him. Holy shit!
It'd be like me meeting. It'd be like me hanging out with Gary for a day.
Have you actually met him though? Like
I've never personally met him. I've seen him speak a few times. I've never personally met him. But this guy was like, yeah, like I microdose acid so I could stay awake for 4 days to work. And I'm like, you're like the smartest guy. Like there's not too many people I've ever been intimidated to be in the room by smart, and he was one of them. I'm like, you're so smart. Like, holy shit, I'm afraid to talk right now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say something stupid. And but it's like crazy how like someone like that can take a drug and use it for good, and that drug can also be used for bad.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's everybody's different, bro.
Exactly.
Like,
I think it's control.
Yeah.
Can you control it?
Me, well, like on acid, if it's
I'm thinking in general. Like if you can control a drug, okay. I think I think weed. Like if you can smoke weed and get to this place that like, if you can just control, it's like alcohol. There's a lot of great people that drink that get to that level where it's like, okay, they're in a good spot, and there's a lot of people that go past it and then they're in a bad spot.
My homie was one of them.
You know what I mean?
That's why I think I've seen a lot of like different people kind of like go through the things. I'm also the type of person that will look at situations on both ends. I don't know why. Like for instance, like I was watching the whole Jeffrey Dahmer shit, and you know I was more intrigued on why he was thinking the way he thought.
Got it.
Like I wasn't even like tripping on the fact that he's eating people. I'm like, what makes him do that? I'm always curious. That's my problem. I'm fucking curious on everything. Believe it or not, I was, again, introvert.
I'm so introvert. It's unbelievable.
I was beyond, like my mom, if she's seen this, she's like, I don't know how he does that.
Oh.
Even with podcasting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she just gets mind blown. She's like, what the fuck? Like, you're so shy. Yeah, so, I was an introvert, dude.
It's funny. So like my old life, right? Like I'm still really good friends with a lot of those guys, and then I hang out with them. I'm like, who the fuck are you now? Thank you, Adrian. God damn, I gotta help you with your fucking job too. You fuck.
I was like, fuck, should I cross
no, just look forward. Just talk. He'll take.
Oh, it's just us. Just
yeah, just talking. He'll be the thumbnail for the podcast.
So
but like they're like, who are you now? And I'm like, I think the number one thing I think anyone should ever get is confidence. The moment you're confident, you're unstoppable. You're literally confidence. I think is what stops everyone.
So when did you get confidence?
I had real confidence or fake confidence.
Let's hear the fake first.
Fake was I got into real estate and I knew I had to fake until I make it. When I got real confidence, when I made $100,000 in my first year in real estate. When I made like 40 G's in 1 week, and I was like,
I'm about to quit my job and just work for you.
Dude, when I made 40 G's, because I made I made $19,000 for 10 years straight. So when I rolled off my first year, I made 40 racks in 1 week. I was like,
mind blown.
I was like, what? And then it just kind of rolled, and that's why I think confidence is so important, because then that turned into, you know, $126,000 in my first year.
Yeah.
Then it turned into $250 my second year. Then $347 my third year.
So you caught on quick. Because
this is my thing.
You started at 28.
Yeah, this is
at
my
29,
this is my thing.
You started. You got this right.
30 at 30.
At
30
30?
at
So it took
30.
you 2
I
years.
signed a lease. I 18 months. I signed this lease,
Yeah.
and then I got. But it's also a bad thing, right? Like, you know, I am very direct with people. Like a lot of people think I'm an asshole. I don't have time to fluff for you, and I don't want fluff back. Like I came from a world where if you sucked, people told you like, "Hey man, you sucked.
Yeah,
You sucked.
yeah.
You need to do this, and this.
Not
Change
like
it.
this new generation.
Change it tomorrow. Like you got to change it now. Like we don't have any longer. You know.
Yeah.
So that's the world I live in, and it's hard because I'm the same way. Like because I want my friends to be that person. Like this group text I got going right now in Facebook, probably each guy in there makes at least $500,000 to $1 million a year at least. And but those are the people I'm around, and I want them to be like, you're not doing what you should be saying. Like you said you're gonna do this, but you're not doing it. You know. And I think that that has built confidence. And I've been bankrupt 3 times since I've opened this company. Flat broke. Like I literally like have been flat. Like how the hell am I gonna pay the rent this month? So I'm not scared of that. I'm not scared of being broke. Like I'm not doing well right now. Market's tough, right? I'm spending a lot of money. You know, do I have money in the bank? Man, yeah, kind of. But you know, things aren't. I don't got hundreds of thousands in the bank. But I'm not scared of it.
Yeah.
Because
a lot of people don't see that.
I've been broke before.
Yeah.
I've been broke many times.
Exactly.
And I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I heard this thing where, like Elon Musk, they're all in debt. You know, everybody, the Amazon guy, whatever, fucking Zach Zuckerberg, whatever, they're all in debt.
Yeah,
So,
they're
like,
like
a lot of people don't get that.
that's the thing. Like all these massive tech companies make no money. Uber makes 0 money. All these, you know what I mean? So the world's so different now. But like I think like for me, I think that at the end of the day, if you can find someone, there's 2 things I believe in. I believe in action. Never listen to what anyone says. Watch their actions. I've had a lot of people say they're gonna work hard and they don't.
Yeah.
Actions is the number 1 thing, and that actions will change your life. If you're unhappy with any part of your life, take some type of action. I don't care what it is. Take some action, your life will get better.
Yeah.
It will. And then I think 2, surround yourself with the right people.
Exactly.
If anyone can listen to 2 rules I ever say, those are the 2 rules. It will change your life. I work every single day. If I have 10 grand in the bank or $200,000 in the bank or this or that or whatever I got going on, I show up every day and I want to work every single day. Even though I bitch and complain, I hate real estate sometimes and I hate doing podcasts and I hate media and I hate all this stuff. At the end of the day, I still show up every day. You're not going to love this shit every day.
Yeah.
You're just not.
It's impossible.
You know, you do a badass video or badass podcast, 3 people watch or 10 people watch or whatever, and 2 people or your mom.
It's discouraging.
It's discouraging.
Yeah.
And then you see
I've
someone.
been there. Yeah, I feel you on that. A lot of times when I see that shit, it gives me. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how. Okay, so pretty much, recently I've been feeling that type of vibe where I'm like looking at myself and like, what am I doing? I love doing this, but what am I doing on the outside of this? Just like, and I've been struggling. Like, it's depression. Everything's hitting me. Anxiety. Where I don't even want to post because I'm just like, what am I doing besides this? I love this. If I can get paid off of this, beautiful. But realistically, am I?
Well, I think the biggest thing is I think you might need to go a little bit more narrow.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning like my show is What's Good in Riverside. So I only interview people from Riverside. That's it.
Yeah.
Or it's a resilient podcast. I like calling it like resilient mindset. Like, what does it take to get through it? And those are only real estate people. So I think for you, man, like go figure out the clientele who watches your videos, and then go find a business that their product would sell to your followers. That would be my tip for you.
Yeah.
Go figure out who watches your videos, who comments, who's whatever, and then go find someone who would want to sell whatever they sell to those people and be like, hey, listen, I got blank amount of people that watch my podcast a week. They would buy your product. What would you pay me to be on my podcast every single week?
Yeah.
And that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my advice for you.
Definitely.
You know, I think, you know, like perfect example, like Rogue. It's like you got to look to the stars and then go backwards, right? Like look at, like I get annoyed when people are like, let's collab, and they're like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm like, everyone that's killing it on all social media is collaborate. You don't want to collab, you're an idiot. Okay, collaborate's the most important thing. Collab with everyone. But then it's like, okay, like you see a ad, like watch a podcast and see what ad they have. Okay, well, it's Rogan. Rogan's probably demographic is mostly males. Okay, what is it? Manscaped. Okay. Mm-hmm. Manscaped goes after Rogan because they know they look at the algorithm. Most of their followers are 25 to 35 males. Okay, great. Cool. Well, who are my followers and who's watching my stuff? And then I'm going to go figure out what company would sell their stuff to them. And that's what I would say.
Yeah. And that would be the first step.
Right, yeah, be the first step. And then be like, hey, like, or who you interview. Mm-hmm. Right? Like,
I guess for the most part right now, it's mainly hip hop, like rappers. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to just be known as a rap.
Why not? Adam.22 started out that way.
Yeah.
No Jumper was all underground rappers. That's how he got started. I mean,
I just naturally gravitate to it because
that's your thing.
I know a lot of people that rap.
100%.
And then I'm always interested, like, oh, this guy's dope. Like, okay, let's get him on the podcast.
So then my thing is for you is like try to find someone popping. I mean, like Adam.22 wasn't that big that long ago, and Tekashi 6ix9ine was a big podcast for him, and he got Tekashi 6ix9ine before he was popping.